wasn't here last weekend, so neither was I. So talking about that, tell me, Greg, who are you, and tell me a little bit just about yourself.
I'm Greg. I live in Georgia, North Georgia, a small town. I was a cook for the last 10 or 12 years in a
What kind
restaurant.
what kind of cook was you? Did you just do just like a mom and pop shop or what?
That was the executive sous chef, and the owner has one Michelin star restaurant on under him, so it was very upscale, gourmet, like Food Network.
Really? So it was like high dollar food at that point. And so this wasn't no $10 restaurant. This was your $20, $30 plate or even more than that.
Come down, and three people are going to leave. The bill is going to be like $400.
Holy
Five,
crap.
yeah,
Not a place that Jason would eat at, probably, would, is it?
not a place. At. So I got 50% off there, and I didn't eat there.
So a lot of people know Greg. He is in our Zoom meetings. He's in my membership, and so on my Zoom meetings, which will be next Sunday, Greg is one of the guys that kind of makes it fun and exciting. A lot of times, you'll even see tonight. I kind of give Greg crap. He's a little nervous tonight because he's not used to being on camera, but that's okay. We'll get through this, and so. Greg is what Greg, your demeanor makes so much sense now. A chef, laugh out loud. That was from Kyle. So, but Greg gives a lot of good information. Greg started. So tell me a little bit. So you were a chef, and then what happened? Why did you just wanted to start to become a pressure washer all of a sudden, or why did you decide to become a pressure washer?
I have owned a pressure washer in the past. I tried. I'm gonna have to go way back for a minute. If that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay, I used to be on drugs really, really bad, and I was really strung out in the past. And during the bad time of my life, I had this great idea. I was going to be a pressure washer. Okay, I found a trailer that was already put together, and I bought it for little or nothing. And I did about 2 jobs, and I messed a lot of stuff up. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. So then I just got rid of it. And then I got my shit together. Anyway, in the process.
What was the process of getting off drugs? I know that's probably because I know a lot of people struggle with this, and even in our groups and that, and dealing with that. What was the process of what got you off drugs? What is one thing? I know you celebrate your how many days you've been sober, and you keep it counted, and that's awesome. And that is something that is amazing to me. That I think that your story can help somebody out there that might be struggling with that. So let's go down that road a little bit about that. I know this is about pressure washing, but I also know that, there's things in life that we can focus on that can help us keep us on the right track. And so tell me a little bit about that side of things.
I'm the type of person that doesn't have a stop button. Whether it's alcohol, drugs, any kind of drugs, gambling. I was addicted to the word. I was addicted to more. I wanted more of everything, no matter what it was. I had to go to jail to get off drugs. That was this 5 years ago on September 17th. That'll be 5 years. I went to jail, 2015, and then in there I decided I can't do this shit anymore. I'm done. And luckily, I filled out some papers. I got accepted into a rehab because my record is long. My record goes back to 1997. And
well, that's older than some people that are watching right now. So,
I got accepted into a rehab, and I made up my mind. I'm going to do this program. I'm going to do it. And I got involved in Narcotics Anonymous, which is like AA but for drugs.
Right.
And I still go once a week. That's maintenance. That's maintenance on my disease. Just like I change my oil on my pressure washer on my pump, I still have to do maintenance on my disease too. I have to make sure,
So when March came along and you got laid off, is that correct? Because of the stupid COVID stuff going on, correct? Because everybody shut down. What was some of the things that you had to deal with trying to figure out what am I going to do next?
But hey, that's okay. I was going through I was using the bathroom. I just found out that day I was going to be laid off. They said, okay, they told me back in the beginning, hey, we're not going to lay you off. We're going to keep you no matter what. We're going to keep you. Then 2 days later, I get a text that tells me, hey, we're not going to bring you back. So I went down there to get my knives, and I was the maintenance guy there too. So I went to get my tools and stuff. And there was two other people working. People like the dishwasher was working, and the line cook was working. $8 an hour employees, and I was like, hold up, they're not bringing me back because I'm salary, and they got these other people working, and they were like deer in the headlights, looking like, oh my god, you know. And 2 years prior to that, can we put you on a 1099? We're not going to pay you. Can we pay you under the table for these 2 years so we don't have to pay as many taxes on you? And I was like, yeah. So when they laid me off, I didn't get no unemployment, no anything, nothing like that.
Hydro Softwash put TJ laid you off. Was that somebody you know or something? I'm just questioning.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry for losing your train of thought there.
Yeah.
So you were getting laid off because
I was getting laid off for the COVID because the restaurant was slow. I was using the bathroom, going through my old Facebook. I was going to look and change my job. That's what I was getting to. Back when I was geeked up, I started No Limit pressure cleaning, and my logo was the No Limit Soldiers, like Master P rap album. That was my logo. This No Limit. I was looking at it and I was like, So I looked on YouTube. I was looking up pressure washing. You know, how do I start a pressure? And then you popped up. It's like 2 a.m. I'm in the bathroom. 2 a.m. You popped up. I was like, do you want to learn how to pressure wash? Yep, I sure do. Because I knew how bad I messed stuff up before. That's how it started. That's literally how it started. Right then. The next night, I think this was a Saturday. The next night was a Sunday, and that show about Michael Jordan, that documentary.
Yes.
That was on. It got my blood pumping. It got my adrenaline flowing. You know, I was like, I can do this. I can do something. I can do something. I started watching more of your videos, taking more notes. I think I probably shot you an email.
You did.
And then I went, and next day I was out trying to I didn't even own a pressure washer at this time. I'm out calling people, hey, you need your house washed? Hey, what can I do? I had a whole week's worth of work before I even bought a pressure washer. You know, that's how I did it. I didn't.
So you got that, and that's not a bad thing, because hey, if you can get jobs, then you know if it's going to work or not. So with that said, you started getting work, and then what was your first pressure washer starting out of doing it? I mean, I know it was a big machine, wasn't it?
My first pressure washer was a 2.3 gallon, 3,000 psi Craftsman with a built-in soak tank.
Yep. And so, how long did it take you to do a house wash with that machine?
Man, my first job, I was so excited. My first job was a house, a pool deck, driveway. I was there for over 10 hours.
And how much did you get paid on that job?
$683.
So that's all you did in March then, is that correct? That one job?
Yeah, okay. Yes, that was it.
So once you got in March, and then come April, and then I know you had sent me a couple emails, and you were one of the two guys that sent me some emails that I did respond, and sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. So you start doing your pressure washing in April. How did you use that when you started to get a different machine and stuff like that?
That's starting in April. That's when I learned how to soft wash with the machine I had. I had fiddled around and got the correct fittings, got a real injector. I was still pushing my little Craftsman around with the 5-gallon bucket, and I 75 foot, a 1/4 inch hose. But I had learned how to soft wash with that machine. I made it work.
So in April you started to learn how to do it, and then when I came and seen you at the end of July, what was your July month?
$10,000.
$10,000 in 1 month. Now, I know I'd put $35,000 is what he's made so far in just these few months, but he made $10,000 in 1 month. Now there's certain things that happen. Reason why August was slow, and he couldn't control that. And there's sometimes we can't control things. That's at the that's not at our mercy to be able to control these things. But so tell me a little bit more about. So you did $10,000 in July. How did you do that $10,000 in July? Did you just go out there and put sign? How did you get the like that kind of stuff?
I did signs. That's the first thing I did. After that $683 I made, I went and spent half of it on signs.
Gotcha.
That first, I did signs first. Then I had flyers made. I fixed a lady who lives down the street who works at one of the corporate mills as a graphic designer. I fixed her son's refrigerator on her lawnmower. She made me a logo. Then she designed me some flyers. She bought my first 200 cards and my first 500 flyers because I fixed their lawnmower. I bordered. I cleaned the guy who's the CPA for the restaurant. I did some cleaning for him. He has an Airbnb. I did a cleaning for him. He got me set up with my LLC. You clean this right here, I'll do your first year's taxes for free, and I'll get you an LLC. Cool. Then he hooked me up with the insurance agent. It just went on from there.
So you've wheeled and dealed some, and that is awesome. And so, like Dan said, that's freaking awesome to have a $10,000 a month, and that is his. My goal this month is to have a $10,000 month, and so I know that's a big goal to hit for a lot of people. So you did do $10,000 there, and hold on now. Arkansas says, Jason, get his address. I'm going to send him something. I admire people that straighten their life up a lot. Don't know. I was bad in drugs in high school and cleaned up my life with my firstborn. So I will definitely get that to you, Mr. Arkansas Softwash. But so. Tell me, we kind of jumped the gun here, but I want to go back a little bit. So he did a $10,000 month in July. So in August, in July, was that about the time that your dad had some issues, correct?
Yes, it is.
Your dad had some issues in that you had to go move in with him so that you could live with him. But that's not the only thing. Tell me a little bit. We didn't get about the family. Tell me a little bit about your family right now.
I have 4 kids. I lost my mom in January. I have 4 kids. I have 4 kids. My son lives at my dad's here with me. And the other ones, my other stepkids are older, 18, 16, 15. They pretty much handle stuff at my house while I'm here. And,
So you're running 2 families at one time at 2 different places there. And your son is, how old is he? You said he's 12?
7.
7 years old, and he loves to play football, correct?
Yes, he does.
And what do you do to help that out? What do you do to help him play football?
I'm the coach of our travel team.
So you're the coach of the travel team that travels all over with football and stuff like that. And so I'm assuming that's probably your hobby that you love to do and keeps you probably straight too also, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So when I talked to you in July, at the end of July there, you were getting a little depressed because of your dad and you didn't know how to work it. And so this month you probably haven't done as much, but that's because you're trying to figure out how to do stuff and how to be able to keep your dad able to keep him, going and take care of him and run a business at the same time. And so tell me, I know we've talked about this a little bit. So tell me, how easy is it to run a business?
It's not. Pressure washing is simple, man. Pressure washing is so easy. Like getting in the truck, going to the job, unloading, washing, loading up, and leaving. That shit is simple. Easy.
What's the hard thing? Because the other day you texted me something and I was laughing because I told you this all the time. You're like, business is like a roller coaster, right, dude?
It is. It is business is a roller coaster. It's up and down, up and down. And in August, I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? It was like today? We're in September already. Good God. Okay. in the beginning of August, middle of August, I was like, holy crap, I've only done $800, and I've been 2 weeks into August. I just did $10,000. What am I going to do? Then I turned my ads back because I've had my ads off. I had Google Ads has helped me a lot, but I've had them turned off since my dad got hurt because I couldn't handle. I was turning people away. I was booked out. I was losing jobs. I was having to call these kids I know that cut grass, have a pressure washer, and trying to talk them through it on the phone just so I didn't lose customers. And that did not go well. We would not do that again. But
So you're starting to figure it out. So you turned your ads back on now.
yeah, and then all of a sudden it was bam, bam, bam. I think last week or the week before I did $2,000 in one day.
Did you really?
At the end of the day, I started at like 7 that morning because it was a day my dad's friend was here staying, the nurses were here, so I was gone from like 6 in the morning and didn't get home till 10 o'clock that night. And I ended up going to Lafayette, which is over the mountain, about 40 miles from my house. But the guy who washed his house here owns a home health care place, and there's a 7 suites in the whole center. And I did the roof, I did metal roof, I just rinsed it off. I did the whole property. And that was $1,300 of it. I still made $700 before lunch, and then went and got $1,300 after lunch. So that was a $2,000 day. That's when I made the live last time.
Dan's asking, do you answer all your phone calls too?
Every one of them.
That's an important thing to do right there. So, so tell me about a job that you talked to me about that you really loved it a lot. Tell me something about a metal roof that you really love about a metal roof.
The metal roof, not a metal. It was the. It was about the color of that screen behind you. Man, it was horrible. That was the worst experience of my life. It was close to it. As far as work goes, that was my worst working. That was worse than a $40,000 Mother's Day on a Sunday at the restaurant. But that roof was worse than that.
And sometimes, and you did learn a valuable lesson out of that job, did you not?
I did.
Sometimes you got to tell a customer to go fly a kite even after you're done, correct?
Yes, and I ended up having to.
And so tell me a little, but don't get there yet. So let's talk through this job. So he sends me pictures of an oxidized metal roof. It was brown. It was originally green, but it was brown because it was so oxidized and nasty. And the first thing I said is bid it high. And when I meant high, I meant high. And so he's like 1,700, and I'm like, I might even be higher than that, but I would be high. And so he bids the job, and he thought, there ain't no way somebody's going to pay that much for that. Is that pretty much what you thought?
Yeah, I was like, man, there's no way I'm going to get this at 1,700. I figured he would laugh at me. That's what I was thinking.
So he bids it at what? It was $1,700, correct? Yeah. $1,700, and he calls me and he's like, "This sucks."
I was ready to pack it up and quit. I was ready to never pressure wash. I was going to go work at Chili's. I was done. I had made up my mind, sitting on top of it. I was done. I made it.
But you made $1,700 in a day and a half, correct?
Yes.
And it did look okay. I mean, it didn't look perfect because it needs to be repainted at the end of the day. It's so oxidized. And so basically you had to tell the customer what? When you were so pissed off with it.
I didn't tell the first when I was finished and loaded up. I told him, "Okay, I'm done." He's like, "No, you're not." I about lost my shit right then. I about lost it. And I had my 18-year-old son with me. He just looked at me. He was like, "You about to take this?" My 18-year-old's looking at me. "You're about to take this from this man after we just did all this? You're about to take this?" I just said, "Something you got to learn about business. Sometimes you got to go with it." I said, "Okay." So I got back up there. I hooked my water hose and my pump spray and got back up there. He's like, "Well, you got a spot over here. There's one over here. There's one over here." And then he went back inside, and I was like, I got down off the roof. He's like, "Well, you done?" I said, "Yep." He's like, "Well, there's a couple." I said, "I'm sorry. There's no more I can do. I'm done. There's no more I can do."
And this was after the day and a half, correct?
Yeah, this was after the day and a half.
But it looked day and night better. I mean, it really did.
It was bad. His wife came out there and was like, "Why are you doing him like this? You need to pay that man and let him go." She was aggravated with. She's like,
So you got the $1,700, correct? And you thought you fired that customer, correct? So let's hear the rest of this story.
hell, he calls me back. I ended up cleaning his house and his driveway last week or the week before.
And how much more did you get out of them?
What was it? $525.
So you ended up getting $2,300 off of a yard sign, correct?
Yep, that was it. One sign.
So again, sometimes there is some jobs, and you learn that some jobs we take and some jobs we don't. And so, and I understand sometimes we take every job we have to get because, at the end of the day, it's just we're trying to make money. But eventually we're come to a point of, will you take another oxidized metal roof?
Nope.
But
Nope.
gutter butter just takes it right off, doesn't it?
Bullshit. Nothing takes. I used gutter butter. I used gutter grenade. I ended up using F9 bark.
So you ended up using an acid to clean the oxidation off of a.
I don't know if it made it that much better, if it just got that much hotter. And this was it was 100 and something degrees. And it was hot. It was horrible. It was the worst planning on my part as far as no shade. It was horrible. It was the worst business decision I've made since I've been in business.
So now that you do know that about metal roofs, what do you tell people about metal roofs?
I've done a couple since, but I tell them I can get your black streaks off, but that's it. I let them know.
And that's the best thing to do at the end of the day, because, sometimes we got to figure out what we know. And sometimes it just takes being in business long enough to know that, what we can clean and what we can't clean at the end of the day, And that is probably the most important thing to learn. And sometimes that's a hard lesson to learn. You were 12 hours into a hard lesson to learn, and at 105 degrees or 100 degrees in Georgia down there, it gets hot. And so, you learned and you make good money. Yes. But at the end of the day, is it really worth it at the end of the day?
I swear, I was dreaming about it. I could hear that roof on that roof in my sleep, man. I have PTSD from that job. It's crazy. I have a friend that lives close by, and we talk a lot. And he's taking on the same kind of job. And I was just telling him, hey, I'm out.
Jason put, Greg is proof obstacles are inevitable, but failure is always optional. And that is true, and he did text me a couple times and be like, man, I don't know if I can do this stuff. And I was like, that's why I told you to bid that high, because
I cried. I cried in the car when I left. I cried straight up. And I looked at my kid and I cried. I ain't gonna lie. I remember sending you a voice message, and right after that, I cried. It is what it is, man. It beat me.
So what did you learn from that? Did you learn anything special from that?
Yes, I did. I have learned to since then not bite off more than I could chew. Okay? Money or not, whether it's great, seems like great money or not, I've learned my capabilities, and I've learned set customers' expectations, because obviously I did not set his expectations low enough for what I could do, or I didn't know well enough what I could do. Right. I thought I would do. I saw somebody else do it, and that shit looked perfect. Like they put a video of them doing a 2x4 foot square, and it looked perfect. And I was like, man, I can knock this out. I know I can, because I know I have a place in my mind I can go where I don't care how tired or hot I am. I'm gonna keep scrubbing. I'm gonna keep working. I have that place I can go to.
Right.
It just wasn't possible for it to come off with a few for a moment. So customer expectations.
Yep. So so you're at 35,000 and you've gotten some big jobs, and so what's your goal for 2020?
Shit. Hey, back in March when I started, I could probably go. I got my original notebook in my truck. You know what my goal was? If I can make $30,000 before December, I'll be straight. That was my goal. 30,000 before December.
So you've done hit that, and
Yeah.
now have you updated that goal to hit at the end of December?
I'm trying to get to 60.
So you're trying to get to 60. Obviously, it is hard because you got your dad and you got other things in your life that you're dealing with your dad and that kind of thing. But you're figuring it out, and like most business owners, you do figure stuff out. And Jason just put, I've never cried after doing a job, or I've never cried after doing a job that was over 100 degrees outside. Well, except for that one time, and then that other time, maybe there's a different time too. So, but I know the feeling that sometimes you just seem so overwhelmed that it's like, what the heck am I doing? Why am I doing this for? And sometimes that is what we got to look at, is the why, and we got to have that why. Why do we want to start a pressure washing business? Why do I need to grow a pressure washing business? And at the end of the day, and sometimes it can't be for just money either, because at that point, your why you won't work for your why at the end of the day, and so you really have to know what that why is. And it's kind of like I say, you look at them 5-star reviews that you get, and when you get in that crap position, you're like, well, these people don't at least think that I suck, even though that I think I suck today, And so that can help us grow. Or, even being into a small group of people getting into like a small group of people that you can know, like-minded people of, hey, I'm struggling today. And a lot of times having that group of people come up to you and say, hey, what can you do? And I feel sometimes that's that Sunday night, and even in my membership of the Facebook group of, when we're all having an issue, maybe somebody has an issue, and it's not so bad after all of getting through it, of doing that kind of thing. So, but even then, it's about having that why. Why do I do it? Is it because so I can support my family? Is it so I don't have to go back to that kitchen that I hated so much that they don't give two rats about me? Because at the end of the day, any employer don't give two rats about you if they have to be you or them. You're gone at that point. Where if you're the business owner, at least you can push through, you can get going, you can set your way, you can set your goal and hit that goal, or at least shoot for it, aim for it, and go for that goal and hit that goal. And so that's some things that I know that you've done and that you are trying to push, and and that is how you've done it. And so I know I've talked a little bit about that, but when it's 100 degrees outside, it makes it tough. Anything from your side of it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, when it is tough, man. You just gotta get through it though. My why is I want a legacy. I'm trying to build something for my kids, not necessarily because I want my kid to grow up and run my pressure washing business. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm planning on putting my kid through college or whatnot. My legacy is not working for $40,000 a year in somebody else's restaurant at 40 years old. That's not my legacy. I build something for myself that it's mine, where it's not a problem if I want to coach football.
Right.
It's not a problem if I need to help take care of my family. It's not a problem. It's my business.
Because what would have happened if you were still at the restaurant with all this going down with your dad?
I would have lost my job anyway.
So, everything happens for a reason at the end of the day, And so, I think that is something that we need to look at sometimes and owning your own business, you can set your own time and your own schedule. And, you love to play football with your kids and, all that kind of stuff. And so that helps you be able to do what you want to do at the end of the day. Even at the kitchen, it was probably hard to get where you needed to be at,
Find somebody to cover my shift, or, well, hey, we got a 40 top coming at 6:30. Well, y'all know I got practice at 6. We don't care. We have 40 people coming, a business meeting of 40 people coming at 6:30. You have to be here. Find somebody, get the assistant coach. You got to take over practice. I don't have to worry about that shit anymore.
Right. And so that's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me what you've done to get your customers.
I've yard signs, Google my business, and I spend 500 a month on Google Ads. That's what I set when the first time I did it. I said, okay, but that was a hard bite to chew off at first. Damn, can I afford $500 a month? You know, can I afford it? Yeah, I can. I'm gonna have to, and I did it. You know that was sticker shock. Dang, $500 a month. You know, blah blah blah. That's only $15 a day.
So
I've got
I'm talking about this. Might be a little question. So that was a fear you had to overcome, correct?
yeah, it was spending that money. Spending $389 on 100 signs. That was a hard thing for me to do too, because I had only made $680. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know where my next jobs were going to come from. You know, it's that spending that money. That's a hard thing to do. Spending money on marketing, that was scary.
And how did you overcome that fear? Did you just? How did
I
you
just
just?
Hey, sometimes it's a gamble.
And
Hey, I just had
you love to gamble sometimes, so.
to,
But that's a good gamble. At the end of the day, and at the end of the day, it is a gamble, but it's really not. It's more of an investment. At the end of the day, you're investing in your own business. You are investing in yourself. At the end of the day, and that is very important. At the end of the day, is that you got to invest into your business and into yourself and stuff like that.
it takes money to make money. It
It
takes.
absolutely. And so tell me, so you've gotten some big jobs off of that, off the signs and stuff like that. Where did you get the church job from?
Yeah, that's where my mom's buried at, and I usually go over there once a week to sit down because she's in the wall at the church. Her urn, her ashes are in the columbarium. You know, they have her name on a plate outside the church, and I go over there, and I was just looking down, looking around. I was like, yeah, it was green, and somebody had looks like somebody had used the electric pressure washer because you can see the little wheel marks in the algae, and somebody tried to spray a few stripes here and there. So I just went online and who was the facilities manager of the church? I sent him some pictures. I said, hey, why don't you let me do this for the church? I can have it looking good. And I went ahead and did a spot and sent him a picture of it. You know, okay, well, send me a quote and I'll get back with you. And then I sent him a quote for it was like 8,000 squares. The quote was for like $2,200, the first one. And they said, well, we can't afford that right now. Why don't you clean our daycare playground first and then just do the columbarium and bill us for that? Okay, I did that. And then I kept hitting them up. Hey, won't you let me do the rest of the concrete? Let me do the rest of the concrete. And they're like, well, send me a quote. And I sent them a quote. So we don't have that right now. And I said, well, how much do y'all have? How much do you have? So I've only got so and so dollars to get me through till November. And then in October, we go over the budget again. She told me the whole ins and outs. They do the budget. By October, I'll have a new thing for 2021, and I'll be able to take money from that. I said, okay, here's what I'll do. Here's a quote for the whole church, excluding the steeple, all the concrete, all the walkways. I'll come 12 times in the next 12 months, once a month, and sanitize the playground, and I'll do the whole maintenance, blah, blah, blah. You can just pay me every 30 days. Stamp, deal. Here you go. No problem.
and so that's another way of getting business is networking at that point. Signs is a good way to get business. Google Ads is a good way to get, and networking is a good way to get business too. And so I know you've done some other networking even through the school. I know you didn't get it, but at the end of the day, you still got to push and try to get what we can get at the end of the day,
I did. I bid on the school and all the playgrounds, and I didn't get it, but I was seeing dollar signs that day. I had it in my mind I was going to make $60,000 over the next month and a half, but the next day, 2 days later, I thought, well, I didn't get it. Guess what? I still did. Still went out and marketed that same day.
Right.
It's
And that's the joy about owning your own business is you can go out there and try to turn over rocks till you find what you underneath them rocks, Because at the end of the... Go ahead.
We were talking about fears a minute ago.
Yeah.
That's one of my fears is, okay, people in my small town, they know me. They know that I haven't had the best record. They know I've been in the newspaper, but they also know I've changed my life too. And I don't realize that sometimes. I think they still see the junkie walking around, with my pants like I feel like they still see me as that, but they don't. So it stops me from walking. Now I walk into places. I put my little shirt on. I walk. Hey, I noticed this out here. Do you need it clean? I go into Popeyes. I got to meet the GM of Popeyes in my town this coming week. Del Taco, Ollie's, Rose's department store. I got to meet with all those people in the next 2 weeks. I just walk in. Hey, where's the manager? I'd like to talk to him. I just walk in. I don't call. I go to different apartment complexes, and I just walk. If I'm not working, I'm beating my feet and walking around, driving around the places, walking in places. Hey, what's up? Y'all need this clean? I don't say it like that, but you know,
Hey, that's awesome, though. That's and a lot of times, if yes, they might know your story, but if they know all your story, then they're actually more willing to help you out at the end of the day. Especially hey, I know you posted on there and you see it in that of hey, I have been clean for so many days and it's 5 years, and that's huge. At the end of the day, that's huge. So and you are helping other people and you're helping kids. Honestly, that of where you're being a coach of that's more impactful than anything that you could ever do because you can be like, hey kids, don't be stupid. You know what I mean? And so when you impact those kids, you also impact those parents of those kids at the end of the day, and so that right there is very good that you're giving. That's how you give back to the community. Yes, you might have been a hellion 5 years ago, but that don't mean that's who you are today, And so that is what makes this world go around at the end of the day, if we all judged each other of stuff in the past, nobody would be worth crap at the end of the day because we all got closets. It's just what's in your closet might be more worse than the other one, but at the end of the day, what's worse, So
yeah. That's just something. That's a big, that's a big fear I had to get over. Was what people thought about me. Oh my God, what are they going to think about me? Or what am I going to do if they tell me no? What am I going to do if they tell me they don't want it clean? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go next door.
So the compassionate capitalist just put this guy's on fire. If you're not working, you should be out getting work. And that's 100%. I'm taking some notes tonight, he put. And that is true. You got to go. You can't be, a lot of people are afraid of the word no. And it's not a bad thing. It's just you either didn't sell yourself or they don't want it, or they can't afford it at the end of the day. Or it's not in their budget, And so how do you go out there? You got to turn them rocks over and see which rock you can find,
If your signs aren't working right now, then go pass out some flyers. Because I put business cards in the slot at the gas station and the gas pump where people have to put their credit card. I don't care. I'll put a flyer in a Ziploc bag with a rock and a quart of individual hand sanitizers and throw it in people's driveways. I know you don't like clip fryers, but hey, I got hand sanitizer in it, so I don't care. It's I don't know.
That is very good question. I mean, that is definitely the truth about it at the end of the day. You got to go out there and turn rocks. You got to go find it. And it's not just going to come to you at the end of the day. It's not. It's very few people I know that have been in business that it just like magically shows up. Talking about the fear, I know people that I had the fear of putting signs out. What are people going to think when I'm putting them out? Or you hurry up and throw them out before so nobody sees who's putting them out, because you're afraid if somebody's going to see you, And
then you got to put them in if somebody's coming and you can't get it into the ground because it's rocky, and then you got to move it and do it again. I'm like, oh man, I'm taking another car next time.
But and I've known people that would not put him out during the daytime, and he's probably listening right now. I don't know if he is or not, but DJ would not put him out in the daytime because he was afraid somebody was going to see him. Because it's all up here at the end of the day. We're so worried, and this is what I told him. I'm like, you're so worried about thinking that you are keeping food off your kid's table because you're scared to go out there and put that sign of what one person might think about you putting that sign out there. And at the end of the day, you have to think about, hey, that's my kid's next food meal right there. My next meal is by me putting that sign out there and doing that, you know. And it is hard. It isn't something that is easy. And that's just one thing about it, you know.
Hey, when I first started, 'cause I did my first few jobs with my little craftsman, right? And then I'm thinking, oh, well, damn, nobody else has called. I figured after I do 2 or 3 jobs, my phone would just be ringing off the hook with referrals. That's what I had in my head. So about 3 days in a row, I was standing around in my shorts and no shirt, drinking coffee, pacing around my kitchen, you know, like out for hours. Like, damn, why ain't my phone ringing? You know why my phone wasn't ringing? Because I was walking around in my underwear, drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes. That's why my fucking phone wasn't ringing. You know, that's why. Because I wasn't doing anything about it. And I made up my mind, right? If I want my phone to ring, I got to do something about it. I've got to call people. I've got to show up places. I've got to pass out flyers. I got to put out more signs. If those signs don't work, then I got to put out some more signs. You know, and that's when I finally bit the bullet and spent the money on Google.
Yep, that's right. I'm just typing here a comment over here so that way I'll just answer it. Wash-A-Thon gets over at usually around 3 or 4 on Sunday. So if you can get a flight back out, you can definitely do that. I got the link down there for Wash-A-Thon. If anybody wants to sign up, it would be something that can help you grow your business. So, tell me one thing other than a metal roof that you failed in business and 3 ways that you overcame those failures, or what did you learn from that failure?
My biggest failure when I first started was not charging enough. Not having enough confidence in my work and not charging enough. Now,
and how did you overcome that?
Ask for more money.
And what they do? What happened when you started asking for more money?
They paid it. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, no, okay. I was when I first started. I wasn't the 99. I guess I was less than $99 because I'm at $600 in 12 hours. That's like $20 freaking hour. So that aside, you know, I was like I made my package list. I was like, I'm gonna do 1,500 square foot for $159, and then 2,500 to $189, and then up. You know, I was scared to go above that 200.
Are you afraid to do it now?
No.
Because I know you called me a while back and you were like, "Man, I'm booked out for 2 weeks." And what did I tell you?
Raise your prices.
Raise your prices. And what happened when you raised your prices?
I was still at about 45% of my job, 50% of my estimates. I get about half of them.
Right. And that is true, Luke. But yeah, so you get about half of your people that close on you is about closing. And that's not a bad rate because you were charging, you know, what's your average hour per averaging about right now?
Right now I'm getting right at about $185 an hour. I'm getting right at $200 an hour.
So you're making right at $200 an hour, and that's pretty good. So tell me.
Since I got my hose reels, though. That's since I got my.
Yes, and we're talking a guy that has built this. This isn't. Now, do you have a $10,000 rig to make all this money?
No.
What kind of rig do you have to make $35,000 in 4 months, 4 months?
You can count what my truck's worth and all my equipment and still not hit 10 grand.
What? First off, what year is your truck?
1992.
92. That's an antique in 2 years.
Yeah. It's a 92 Ford F-250. I mean, it's only got 146,000 miles on it, but still, you can see every one of them miles on that truck.
So you're at 92 F-250, and tell me about your equipment. Do you got like $5,000 worth of equipment?
Yes.
So you got a pressure washer that's a 4 gallon a minute, correct? And you bought that used or new?
No, I got that new. Well, the person I was looking online, going to order from this pressure wash store, and I was like, man, I don't want to have to deal with all this. I got to I'm old school. I want to talk to somebody physically and I want to buy it from a person. So if I have a problem, I can take it back to that person and they can fix my problem. So I found a really nice place in my town. They sell lawnmowers. Well, just so happens they had a book that had pressure washers in it. You know, hey, we sell these pressure washers. It's a AR pump with a Honda motor, 4,000 psi, 4 gallon minute, blah blah blah. So I went. He said, "Well, I don't have it here at my shop. It's at my house." Oh, okay. So he's been using it. So, it was used. And I got it from the lawnmower place.
So you bought a pressure washer, and how long did you do it? How long was you pulling that pressure washer out? You made the $10,000 month, and you never even had hose reels mounted in your truck, did you?
Nope, that didn't happen until a week or two ago.
So you've been pulling it in and out, doing that. I sold you a Softwash system box, and then you made a 55-gallon drums that does that, correct?
That's right. 2 55-gallon drums, 5.5 gallon a minute 12 volt with one blend manifold for bleach and one on off for water. I put the soap in the bucket with the bleach.
And so you got all of that kind of stuff, and so you got about what, $2,000, $3,000 tied up into it?
Yeah, and then I got 2 Cox wheels. That was $400 more. I don't plumb them. I just use them for storage. I got them on a skid on the back of my truck. I don't plumb those. I still hook directly to my washer. I might have $3,800 altogether.
And made $35,000. That's pretty good.
That's a good ROI right there.
So that's your business failures and that. So what is there anything that I could help you with to help you get to the next level? Is there any question that you might have for me to help you get to overcome something, or something you would want to ask Jason?
You've already helped me get to the next level. Straight up. You have changed my life, man. Like, you don't even I couldn't even go in. I can get into it for an hour. Like, you have no idea what you have done for my life, for my kids. Like, you don't even know my kid. Like, for my kid, you have changed my whole life. You have allowed me to do some stuff that I never would have been able to do. Like, you have done that. You have changed my life. Coming from an addict who's been clean for 5 years, who's changed it, you have changed my life. All that.
Now you got me speechless.
Hey, I know there's a lot of guys out there who do a lot of things and sell a lot of things and give a lot of good information, but you're that one. That for me, you are that one. You get it. Come, because I'm not that smart. Some stuff I don't understand. Like, I understand you. Like, you want to learn how to pressure wash? Yes. Okay. Here's what you do. Okay. Play, stop, pause, rewind. Play, stop, pause, rewind. I don't know. Thank you.
You're welcome. Somebody else just wrote, Jason, I don't think you realize how many people's lives you have helped shape. And I do. I mean, that's my goal. At the end of the day, my goal is this story right here. It really is. It's not about, yes, do I have to make money to support my family? Yes. But if I can change somebody's life like this, that it can go out there next year, make $100,000, $150,000, it's not out of the realm. I mean, it really isn't out of the realm for you to be able to do that next year.
You can write it down. Let's see, 9:50 Sunday night on September 5th or 6th. You can write it down. Next year, Greg Townsend will make $100,000 pressure washing. Write it down and call me out on it if I don't do it. That will happen.
It will happen. I know you can do it. And that's why I do it, because I know because you could have never done it any other way without that. And so, that is why I do what I do, And like I say, do I sell things? Do I do things? Yes. I got to make a living myself. But me making a living and you making a living by giving me a couple $100 a year I mean, at the end of the day, that's my goal, is to make you so that you can go out there and make a living and to change your family tree, to be able to do that and keep you motivated and keep you guys ready to grow and get you to that next level. Because at the end of the day, that's my whole goal. Go ahead.
And you hold accountability. It might not be that you're breathing down her neck. You got to do this. You got to do that. But it's just knowing. Okay, what would Jason do? What would he say just in my head? Or what would so and so that's in the group? I can't let these people down by giving up. You know what I'm saying? This man's put all this time. I didn't have to pay for your course. It's all on YouTube. You care enough to put it out there for free. You know, that's a big thing. It's accountability too, man. If you don't have accountability or you don't have any character about yourself, you better find something or you're not going to make it. If you're going to be an entrepreneur and start your own business and you don't have enough gumption to hold yourself accountable and make yourself do the work, then you will not make it. Will not.
You wasn't supposed to make me nervous, and
I mean, that's where I'm at. Like, I don't know. It is what it is, man.
I know, and at the end of the day, that is my goal. You know, I don't want to go down the road too much. I know I have changed several lives this year for the point of whatever. One person can't be. I don't think he's on here tonight. I don't want to go into details, and I know I definitely changed his life. The only thing I'm going to say is pray for him. I don't want to go into too many details. There was one guy that needs prayer for tonight that is usually on here and won't be on here for a little while. So definitely pray for him. And I know I've changed his life. I know I've changed your life. Like I say, I know that there's a lot of people that and that is why I want to help you guys. I don't keep all the information up here. I give it out, you know. Could you, and it's like I say, if you can't afford it, you know, there is a free option. You can go to pressurewashhelp.com/free. You get a free month, learn what you can. I don't care if you cancel at the end of it. If you stay, that's fine. If you don't, then don't, you know. But that's why I do that kind of stuff. You know, if you don't want to go that route, I've got all the information on YouTube out there. Will you have to go find it piece by piece? Absolutely will. But, you know, I'm putting things together of even just my membership of where that Zoom call, because I see that Zoom call is being something that is built of being relationships around that and being built accountability of it. And that is what I want at the end of the day.
There's another thing about the Zoom call that you don't realize. Okay, yes, we have a Zoom call twice a month and we talk for an hour and it's awesome. But what you don't understand is you connect with people during that call. So there's a group of 4 or 5 people that I connect with on a personal level that text me, hey, how's your dad? Hey, how's your kids? What's going on? How was practice? Did you watch this? Did you watch that? Hey, I'm watching this. I'm watching that. Did this work? Did that work? I mean, it's solid, man. I feel like I got a whole team. It don't matter if it's 10 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the morning. If I got a question, there's somebody I can holler at, and they can help me out. I know you're busy. I might message you. If you don't answer, then I'm calling some of the others that, you know, they're there. That's worth it for me. You know, it was hard. You know, I messaged you and always message you and ask you questions long before I paid for the course. Your course was still box for $49.99 when I could have joined. I didn't join it after it went up.
And Greg was one that in the beginning, he was kind of the sob story coming to me of just like one of the other guys was. And sometimes, you know, usually I'm going to shoot you an email saying, here's a free month, blah, 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 blah. But Greg didn't stop there. Greg kept coming after me. Greg kept asking me questions. And finally, I seen that he was growing to a point that I finally called him. I'm like, I'm going to call him. I'm going to be, and not everybody gets this surprise, but I called him on Facebook Messenger, and I just called him up, and you were probably shocked when I called you that night.
I was like, holy, I was scared. When you called, I was scattering, like, oh my God, I've only got 9%. I got to find a charger. Oh my God, what is that? I get, you know, it's, yeah. And then my son heard your voice. My son was like, are you watching YouTube again? I'm like, no, he's really on the phone, dude. It was awesome. Because my son knows your voice from all the videos.
I know a lot of people know my voice from my video. A lot of what I hear is a lot of wives hear my voice from my videos. So, but yeah, so that is definitely something that I hear a lot of. Is Jason? Yeah, that's all I watch is you. So, like I say, I grew my business to $1 million. It isn't something I'm just blowing air out. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not giving bad information. I'm not out there to make you do stupid stuff. And there is people out there that will do that kind of stuff. And that's not me. You'll hear me say, if somebody asks a question, I will always answer that question, And so I'm not, I always say, there's no such thing as a dumb question. The only dumb question is the question you don't ask. Because if you don't know it, and I see it in, the Facebook groups are the world's worst of giving you bad information. You will ask a question and they will send you down a rabbit hole that they know is bad, and that aggravates the crap out of me. That right there is what drives me crazy. And so that is kind of why I started to do these lives, is so that I can answer the questions. Now, I started, and I know I do some lives together, and I don't always ask everybody's question that comes in on a Sunday night because I'm doing a live with somebody else. But at the end of the day, that is why I started doing this, is because I hate people that want to send you down a rabbit trail of wrong, or they learned it yesterday and now they're telling you what to do and it's completely wrong, and it's like, guys, listen, and so, somebody asked me a question a couple weeks ago, or when I was up in Cleveland, of if I started over again, could I get up to where I was? And I said, yes, I could. I could do it. I know what works, and I know what doesn't work. And is it going to happen overnight? No, it's not going to happen overnight. It took me 7 years to get to $1 million. It didn't happen overnight. And why did it not happen overnight? Is because I learned as I go. I'm still learning. I still learn today. It's not like I just know it all of a sudden and I know it. I'm still learning today, and things change, When I first started, if I knew what I knew now, I could have gotten it there really fast, but I didn't. And so now you got to start over and work it on the way up through there. And so, that's why, people like Greg, did 35,000. His goal was 20. He could end up doing 60 this year. Very easy, and not that hard to do it. He's knocking on doors. He's doing stuff. And he's not even doing everything that he could be doing, because some things that Greg struggles with is he's older. And sometimes when being older, technology isn't the easiest thing for Greg at the end of the day, and I know that for a lot of people that watch me are older, and technology is not easy. But, with things like LinkedIn and stuff like that, you can really kill it at the end. You could take it and knock it out of the ballpark just using LinkedIn, and that is a service that a lot of people don't use. And so, that is some things that you got to be able to learn and overcome. And you probably didn't think you could learn and overcome that when you first started, did you?
No, I never thought I could set up a Google My Business page and run ads. I never thought I didn't know what that was. I always wondered why it said sponsored underneath somebody's name when I Googled who can lay carpet in my house. Now I know.
You didn't even know what the ads meant, and a lot of people don't know what the ads mean.
Hey, I went through your course, all your videos on setting up Google My Business. I went through it for like 6 hours over a 2-day period. And like I said, stop, start, rewind, play, and I did it section by section. Headline, AdWords. What words do I put in here? What words do I take out? Which ones do I do this? Like, even the stuff you didn't go over, I would zoom in take a screenshot, zoom in so I could see what your computer said. Like, I did that and it worked. I don't know what I'm doing. I just did what you did. I don't even know how it worked. I don't know.
And how old are you now, Greg?
41.
41? So you're not no young chicken, and you probably didn't, the way I take it, you wasn't very good in school if I was a betting man.
But I played football in school,
So you got hit in the head too many times.
but I think a lot of the teachers were probably a lot more lenient on me because I played football. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I don't think I was held to the highest standards of this work has to be exactly right to make it through and graduate type thing. So,
Yes, my course does go over LinkedIn instructions and how to set it up and all that kind of stuff. I think I know the answer to this, but a couple people were asking questions. Are you going to do Christmas lights this year?
yeah.
You don't like heights, do you?
Well, not really. I don't offer gutter brightening, gutter restoration. I don't offer that shit. I don't. I will do gutter clean outs, and I'm starting to working on advertising that now because it's about to get cooler and leaves are going to fall. But I also have an 18-year-old son who loves to climb a ladder too. But I'm not doing Christmas lights because I don't like. I'm fat and I don't like getting up there. So no, I'm not offering Christmas. I have a couple of weddings scheduled to cater in November and December that I'll be cooking for, and I'll make enough money on those that if I'm not making any money, that I'll be okay.
Gotcha.
But no,
But you're going to try to do some gutter cleaning then this year with your
Yes.
son?
Yep.
Gotcha.
I think with the weather here, I should be able to work all the way through October.
Right. Yes. And even in November.
A little close to think. I'm thinking I can work all the way to Black Friday, but I have it in my head.
Yeah. As long as the weather don't go stupid, you could probably work all year long, to be honest.
That's what, and I have I have a church and I have another place that I have scheduled to do for the next 12 months. They're going to pay me I've got my code. I've got that worked out already. I know I've got X amount of dollars coming in every month for the next 12 months, no matter what happens, as long as I show up and spray some water. Because all the main work's done.
Yep. And so this is a Mr. Capitalist put. Yep, no problem. My 2-man crew does $300,000 a year cleaning gutters. It's definitely something to take serious if you don't mind heights. And so there's definitely money to be made in the cleaning gutters. All right, so we've been on here just right at an hour. What would you tell a new guy if he was starting from scratch?
To do it. Just do it. Whatever amount of money you have, whatever equipment you can afford, buy it and start washing. Start getting business. I see that more than anything. But I'm still new. I'm not some OG in the game. I'm not some vet. I'm still new. But I see over and over, well, once I get this machine or once I get this tank or once I get this hose, but buy a pressure washer and a water hose in a bucket and start washing. Stay off of Facebook, get out the group, because then you're gonna think you need remember what I told you? Well, when I get $20,000 saved up, I'm gonna do this or that. I still ain't there. I would have never done anything.
Right.
I was gonna have you build me a $20,000 rig in July. I still ain't there. And that's what somebody just starting out, you've got to go do it. Quit waiting. You've got to go do it. Learn what you're doing. You've got to do the research, man. You've got to put in the work and do the research and know what you're going to do. Then you just got to do it. You've got to do it.
Take action. You got to take action.
You have to take action. You got to make it real. You can't pace around your kitchen in your underwear, drinking coffee and smoking thick cigarettes and think it's going to work. You got to go out and do it. Whether it be going out and getting more work or going out and actually washing. And me, don't be scared to do something for free. Don't be scared to do something for free. Hey, I got 3 roof jobs off of for free when I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, just saying.
Hey, and because you were scared to do roofs, was you not?
Yeah, I was. I was scared to do roof. And until I got that box from you and I tried it. And that's like magic. That's the easiest thing ever. Doing a roof is easy.
I'll never forget when you showed me that picture. You're like, this is magic right here. I said, I told you it was magic.
I was literally there for 20 minutes. I was scared to leave.
And how much money did you make in that 20 minutes?
Like $350. It was just one side.
And so you was even cheap on that.
Yeah. But like the first one, I told the church, I said, look, here's how much it cost me for this much chemical. I told them, I showed them the invoice for a 55-gallon drum of bleach. Here's how much it cost me to do this. You pay me this, and I'll clean your, which it didn't take. I really got them. I got 30 gallons of bleach out of the deal. But, you know, hey, they got the church roof cleaned for $170. But you know what? You know how many people go to that church? I've got 3 jobs of church members already cleaning their roof.
Yep.
You know, I mean,
and it's only going to grow from here for you, Greg. And I know it is. You're a hard worker. You're willing to go out and get it, and that is important. Again, you got to take action. You're not afraid to take action. You're not afraid to go knock on doors. You're not afraid to go do that kind of stuff. You're learning new things. You're doing new things that you never would have thought you would have done. And that's what you, at the end of the day, that's what you got to do. And you've said it earlier. You got to go do it. If you don't do it, it's never going to get done, period. If you sit there and talk, it goes back to the old mindset that I always talk about. If you let this mind sit there and tell you what you can and can't do, you'll never do anything in your life. But if you think positive and you be positive and you get around positive people, it is what can happen to you to get you to where you need to be at. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's exactly right. And sometimes you got to manifest. You got to manifest. You got to make it. Even if it doesn't exist, you got to talk it into existence. You know, and it's hard. I still get nervous, like going into this place. I still get scared. But hey, I gotta eat, man. I gotta eat.
Yep, absolutely.
And being that, like we talked about earlier, you know, starting your own business, that's rough, man. The business side of it is rough. Be it human resources, marketing, CEO, accounting, doing all that stuff, that's not easy. It's hard on me. It's rough. It's the hard part. And it's scary. But if it's your business, if you don't do it, nobody's gonna do it for you.
Right.
Even if I didn't show up to work at the restaurant, guess what? Somebody was still gonna be there and be able to cook. Them folks are still gonna make money and serve food. Well, if I don't do it, then I don't get paid. You know.
He put David put Greg is not afraid to be honest. Thank you for being who you are, and that's what you got to be at the end of the day. You know, it's Greg skinny. He's not skinny, so he's eating well. You know,
I'm 6 foot, like 265 pounds. I'm not little.
But all right, well, I'm going to jump off here. Hang on. Thanks for coming on. Again, if you want to check out Wash-A-Thon, check it out. I am going to have a Christmas light training before that in Dayton, Ohio. It's on this same page. You just got to go check out the Dayton, Ohio one. Also, the capitalist has been on here. This guy right up here, wherever he's at. We are doing a training together. He's doing $300,000. It will be in Raleigh, North Carolina. And so it will be also another training that will be amazing. This training here so Wash-A-Thon is with Bobby Walker and all those guys. So that will be good. This training here will be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more hands-on on the side of Christmas lights. It'll be very hands-on on Christmas lights. There's going to be lift training. You're going to learn how to do lift training. And at this training, you will also learn how to do roof safety. We will have lots of talking about roof safety on there. We talk about it in all of my other classes, but this one here will be way more detail and talking way more of that kind of thing. So, you know, roof training at the end of the day is very thing. So if you go check out pressurewashup.com/Wash-A-Thon, all my dates are in the training. But like I say, with the capitalist, the compassionate capitalist, we are going to have a 2-day training. Fred Zimmerman is going to be there. Some of him knows who he is. He's in the Christmas light world. He's going to be there also. He's been in business way longer doing Christmas lights than I have ever been. But the biggest thing about him is he's not allowed to talk about pricing when we're there because he sucks at pricing. And he's another one that I've really had to work on pricing-wise to be able to get him to be able to, so where he can, be able to get his business to where he's not working in the business, but he's working on the business at the end of the day, and that's where, if we're so cheap, at the end of the day, we're losing money to be in there, and that's not worth it at the end of the day. So again, those are my 2 big classes. One will be at the end of this month in Wash-A-Thon, and then the next one is in October, and that one is also, again, the Compassionate Capitalist, making about $500,000 a year doing nothing but gutter cleaning. 2 trucks, over $250,000 to $300,000 per truck doing gutter cleaning. And so on Christmas lights, this is his 3rd year doing Christmas lights. And so he is an awesome guy that we will be down in Raleigh, and we will actually be doing one of his $15,000 jobs for him. That's what our training is going to be. So I'm teaching how to get 1,000 new clients a year. Let's see what he put here. That's a good thing. He's going to teach you how to get 1,000 new clients a year without Google AdWords. And so he does do all that, and he does get 1,000 new clients. And so go check this out. PressureWashHelp.com/Wash-A-Thon, or you can go to in-person training. Either place is going to take you to the same page. Also, if you want to go check out PressureWashHelp.com/free. Next Sunday, I will be doing my live with the Zoom call. Will be next Sunday at 7. So if you sign up now for the free month, you can get into the next 2 meetings on the Zoom call. So if not, I'll see you then. I will be back here on Thursday night doing a live again at 9 and at 7 for Christmas lights. So see you all later.